Hello, this is Miss Pat from San Luis Public Library. Today in Science Scouts, we're going to learn how to turn how to turn liquids into solids, and we're going to learn what emulsifier means, because we're going to make butter. So to start off, we'll actually do two stories today. We're going to start off with the Butter Battle Book by Dr. Seuss. On the last day of summer, 10 hours before fall, my grandfather took me out to the wall. See him over there? For a while he stood silent, then finally he said, with a very sad shake of his very old head, "As you know, on this side of the wall, we are Yooks. On the far side of this wall live the Zooks." Then my grandfather said, "It's high time you knew of the terribly horrible thing that Zooks do. In every Zook house and in every Zook town, every Zook eats his bread with the butter side down. For we Yooks, as you know, when we breakfast or sup, spread our bread," Grandpa said, "with the butter side up." "That's the right honest way," Grandpa gritted his teeth. "So you can't trust a Zook who spreads butter underneath. Every Zook must be watched. He has kinks in his soul. That's why, as a youth, I made watching my goal. Watching Zooks for the Zook Watching Border Patrol." In those days, of course, the wall wasn't so high, and I could look any Zook square in the eye. If he dared to come close, I could give him a twitch with my tufted, prickly snickberry switch. For a while that worked fine. All the Zooks stayed away, and our country was safe. Then one terrible day, a very rude Zook by the name of Van Itch snuck up and slingshotted my snickberry switch. With my broken off switch, with my head hung in shame, to the chief Yokomo in great sorrow I came. But our leader just smiled. He said, "You're not to blame. All those Zooks will be sorry they started this game. We'll dress you right up in a fancier suit. We'll give you a fancier slingshot to shoot." And he ordered the boys in the back room to figure how to build me some sort of a triple sling jigger. With my triple sling jigger, I sure felt much bigger. I marched to the wall with great vim and great vigor, right up to Van Itch with my hand on the trigger. "I'll have no more nonsense," I said with a frown, "from Zooks who eat bread with the butter side down." Van Itch looked quite sickly. He ran off quite quickly. I'm unhappy to say he came back the next day in a spiffy new suit with a big new machine, and he snarled as he said, looking frightfully mean, "You may find those hard rocks with your you may fling those hard rocks with your triple sling jigger, but I also now have my hand on the trigger. My wonderful weapon, the jigger rock snatch 'em. We'll fling 'em right back, just as quick as we catch 'em. We'll have no more nonsense, we'll have no more gup from you Yooks who eat bread with the butter side up." "I have failed, sir," I sobbed as I made my report to the chief Yookaroo in the headquarters fort. He just laughed. "You've done nothing at all of the sort. Our slingshots have failed. That was old-fashioned stuff. Slingshots, dear boy, are not modern enough. All we need is some newfangled kind of a gun. My books in the back room have already begun to think up a walloping whiz-zinger one. My bright boys are thinking they're on the right track. They'll think one up quick, and we'll send you right back." They thought up a great one. They certainly did. They thought up a gun called the Kickapoo Kid. which they loaded with powerful poo-a-doo powder, and ant eggs and bees' legs and dried fried clam chowder. And they carefully trained a real smart dog named Daniel to serve as our country's first gun-toting spaniel. Then Daniel, the Kickapoo Spaniel, and I marched back toward the wall with our heads held up high. With everyone cheered, and their cheers filling the sky, "Fight, fight, for the butter side up!" Well, we didn't do, and we didn't quite die, but we sure did get worsted, poor Daniel and I. Van Itch was there too, and he said, the old pig, "The boys in my back room invented this rig, called the 8-nozzle elephant-toted boom blitz. It shoots high explosive sour cherry stone pits and will put your dumb Kickapoo kid on the fritz." Poor Daniel and I were scared out of our wits. Once more by Van Itch I was bested and beat. Once again I limped home from the wall in defeat. I dragged and I sagged and my spirits were low as I thought that they ever could go, when I heard a boom-ba and a diddle-dee-dill, and our butter-up band marched up over the hill. The chief Ugaroo had sent them to meet me, along with the right side up song girls to greet me. They sang, "Oh, be faithful, believe in the butter," and they lifted my spirits right out of the gutter. "My boy," smiled the chief Ugaroo, "we've just voted and made you a general. You've been promoted. Your pretty new uniform's ready, get in it. The big war is coming, you're going to begin it. And what's more, this time you are certain to win it." My boys in the back room have finally found how. Just wait till you see what they've puttered up now. In their great new machine, you'll fly over the wall and clobber those butter down zooks once and all. Those boys in the back room sure knew how to putter. They made me a thing called the utterly sputter, and I jumped aboard with my heart all aflutter and soared through the land of the upside down butter. This machine was so modern, so frightfully new, no one knew quite exactly just what it would do. But it had several faucets that sprinkled blue goo, which somehow would sprinkle the zooks as I flew and gum up that upside down butter they chew. I was racing pell-mell when I heard a voice yell, "If you sprinkle a zooks, you'll get sprinkled as well." Van Itch had a sputter exactly like mine, and he yelled, "My blue gooer is working just fine. And I'm here to say, if yooks can goo zooks, you better forget it, 'cause zooks can goo yooks." I flew right back home, and as you may have guessed, I was downright despondent, disturbed, and depressed. And I saw, just as soon as I stepped back on land, so were all of the girls of the butter-up band. The chief drum majorette, Ms. Yuki Ann Sue, said that was a pretty sour flight that you flew, and the chief Ugaroo has been looking for you. I ran to his office. The place was a sight. "Have no fears," said the chief, "everything's all right." My bright backroom boys have been brighter than bright. They've thought up a gadget that's newer than new. It's filled with mysterious moo-lack-o-moo and can blow all those zooks clear to Shamagoo. They've invented the Bitsy Big Boy Boomeroo. You just run to that wall like a nice little man. Drop this bomb on the zooks just as fast as you can. I have ordered all yooks to stay safe underground with the Bitsy Big Boy Boomeroo is around. As I raced for that wall with the bomb in my hand, I noticed that every yook in our land was obeying our chief Ugaroo's grim command. They were all bravely marching with banners aflutter, down a hole for their country and right side up butter. That's when grandfather found me. He grabbed me. He said, You should be down in that hole, and you're up here instead. But perhaps this is all for the better somehow. You'll see me make history right here and right now. Grandpa leapt up on that wall with a lopulous leap, and he cleared his hoarse throat with a bopulous beep. He screamed, "Here's the end of that terrible town, full of zooks who can eat bread with butter side down." And at that very instant, we heard a clumpity-clump of feet on the wall, and old Van Itch clumped up. The boys in his back room had made him one too. In his fist was another big boy boomeroo. "I'll blow you," he yelled, "into pork and wee beans. I'll butter side up you to small smithereens." "Grandpa," I shouted, "be careful. Oh, gee, who's going to drop it? Will you or will he?" "Be patient," said Grandpa. "We'll see. We will see." All that fighting over how you put butter on the bread. Do you put it on the top or do you put it on the bottom? Does it matter? Does it change the taste? No. So we're going to talk about how butter gets made. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to talk about emulsion. Emulsion is when two things mix together. Now you guys might remember we did this a while back with density. Oil and water don't mix. You can shake it, but if you let it sit for a while, the oil is going to go to the top and the water is going to go to the bottom because oil is lighter than water. And usually the two don't stay very mixed. So emulsion is when two liquids mix together and tiny drops of one are kind of trapped inside the other one. All right, so this picture here with the lots of blue, and little yellow, that yellow is the oil, and that's trapped inside the water. And the other one, those are little blue ones, little water molecules inside of the oil. So that's emulsion. It'll actually stay together like that. All right, so butter is made out of cream, not milk. Can't make it out of milk. Milk is mostly water, and it has about 5 to 10% of fat in it. But cream has more fat in it. Cream has like 15 to 25% of what they call fat globules. And globules, think of those as teeny tiny little water balloons. Okay, so in this case, they're tiny fat balloons. Okay, so they're teeny tiny little balloons full of fat. All right, and when you shake them, just like when you shake water balloons, what happens? They burst, right? So when you shake the cream with those teeny tiny little globs of fat, you break the outer side. And that's what this is happening, okay? So they're churning it up. And then what's going to happen? All right, so the fat is going to leave their normal position and it's going to clump together. And all the fat molecules is going to cling together and make butter. And it's going to leave kind of a yellowish water behind. And that yellow water is actually buttermilk, real buttermilk with nothing else added. So you can use that for something else. But while you're shaking this stuff, you're also going to find out, you're going to shake and shake and shake, and you're going to feel it shaking. And then all of a sudden you're not. And if you opened it up, you're going to have something that looks like whipped cream. It's going to kind of look like Cool Whip. All right, and we don't want Cool Whip on the bread, isn't as good. Okay, you're going to keep shaking it, and then it's going to turn into those little clumps that you see here on the bottom. And that liquid, that buttermilk. Okay, so you're going to shake it till you hear nothing, and then you're going to keep shaking it till you hear something. Okay, because all you have to do to make butter, right, and we're going to change butter, which is a solid, right, 3 states of matter. We're not going to do gas, but we're going to take a solid, and we're going to make that from a liquid, right? Heavy cream is going to be a liquid, and that's what you're going to get here. Okay, so you're going to get a liquid in a little container, and you're going to shake, shake, shake it for about 5 or 10 minutes until it turns into a solid. Okay, and why is it going to turn into a solid? Because what we said, right? We're bursting up all those little balloons that are making up that liquid, and then all the fat one is going to stick together. Now this picture doesn't actually show the buttermilk, but you're going to have a little bit of buttermilk left. You just kind of pour that out. Okay. So I do want to show you guys. So when you come and you ask for our kit, this is what you're going to get. Okay, it's going to be in a baggie. It's a little container. It's half filled with cream, and it has a rubber band on it. Now the reason it has a rubber band is some of these things don't stay too well. So when I was shaking mine, and you can kind of see, I didn't put a rubber band on mine. So my baggie's kind of a little dirty here. And I found out that it was kind of splattering all over. So I don't want you guys to have butter all over the place or cream all over the place. So keep this on. You might even want to keep it in the bag, okay? And all you're gonna do is shake it, okay? And you might be able to hear it. Right? Shake it for 10 minutes. Remember, you're gonna shake and shake and shake, and you can change hands, and you can even hand it off to somebody else. My hand is tired. Yeah, give it to your brother or sister to shake, okay? For about 10 minutes, set the timer, 10 minutes, okay? Usually if you sit down and watch one TV show, the whole show, that'll do it, okay? And you're gonna hear it, and then all of a sudden you're not gonna hear it, and then you're gonna hear it again, okay? And when you hear it again, and when your 10 minutes is up, right, you can take it out, take the rubber band off. I haven't dumped my, have not dumped the, I want to show you, okay? So here's my butter. You can see the butter here. This is solid. And here's my liquid. Okay, I still have my buttermilk. Okay, but you can pour that out. You can use that in a different recipe. Some people like to drink that stuff. And you can stick this right into the, put the top back on, put it right back in the refrigerator. It'll get harder. Okay, you don't want to really leave it in the buttermilk, but I wanted to show you that there's buttermilk in there. You can leave the butter, and you don't have to put it back in the baggie. You can just put this right into the refrigerator. Let it get a little bit harder after you dump the buttermilk, and then you guys can butter it. You can butter it on the top. You can butter it on the bottom. You can be a yuk or a zook, right? And if you do this for Thanksgiving, and this will stay in the fridge, right, as buttermilk, as cream, you can leave the cream in the fridge. And you can put this on your rolls or on your bread at Thanksgiving time. You can use it in baking cookies, right? This is just butter. You've turned it into butter. Now, my grandkids like to add cinnamon to it, and they stir it up a little bit before they put it in the refrigerator and get it really, really hard. Not in the buttermilk though. Or one of them likes garlic butter, so he kind of adds that to it. You can add whatever you want to it, or you can just use it as butter. Okay? You guys can use it for Thanksgiving coming up, which is what these guys do. All right, I'm going to read you one more. Around the Table That Granddad Built by Melanie Hauser Hill. Okay, doesn't look like a normal Thanksgiving table, huh? This is the table that Granddad built. These are the sunflowers picked by my cousins, set on the table that Granddad built. These are the napkins sewn by Mom, surrounding the sunflowers picked by my cousins, set on the table that Granddad built. These are our plates, red, orange, and yellow, that go with the napkins sewn by Mom, surrounding the sunflowers picked by my cousins, set on the table that Granddad built. These are the glasses from Mom and Dad's wedding, set by our plates, red, orange, and yellow, that go with the napkins sewn by Mom, surrounding the sunflowers picked by my cousins, set on the table that Granddad built. These are the forks and spoons and knives, gifts from Dad's grandma long ago, placed by the glasses from Mom and Dad's wedding, set by our plates, red, orange, and yellow, that go with the napkins sewn by Mom, surrounding the sunflowers picked by my cousins, set on the table that Granddad built. This is the squash that took over our garden. These are the potatoes and peppers we roasted. And these are the beans overflowing the bowl. This is the stack of toasty tamales. These are the samosas, spicy and hot. And this is the rice pudding we have every year. This is the bread, still warm, that Gran baked. And this is the butter made by us kids. And this is Dad's huckleberry jam. Mmm. And here are the pies. I made this one myself. For these hands we hold, for tasty good food, for family and friends, for grace that is given and love that is shared, we give thanks. Around this table that Granddad built. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you eat on Thanksgiving, okay? Eat what you like. Try making something new maybe, okay? And enjoy Thanksgiving. Have a happy.